Welcome to part 1 of a basic tutorial for iMovie version 10.0.9. The first thing we want to do is to locate the iMovie icon. If you don't see it in your docking station, try locating it in the Launchpad application. Once you find it, you can activate it by double-clicking the left mouse button. Once inside iMovie, you want to make sure that you are running the same version of iMovie as I am. To do this, go up into the top left-hand corner and select iMovie, and then About iMovie. A title screen will appear and will tell you which version of iMovie your computer is currently running. When you're finished, close out the screen to continue. To get started, we need to create a new project. To do this, locate the new icon in the top left-hand corner and select it by left-clicking, and then choose the movie icon option. This will take you to a theme screen. Here you can choose from various theme templates for your project. You can review them by selecting the play icon in the middle of the video. For this tutorial, we'll be using the No Theme template. Select it by left-clicking on it. Then locate the Create button in the bottom right-hand corner and select it. A screen will pop up, allowing you to create a title for your project. After you've finished naming your project, locate the OK option and select it. Now that our project has been created, let's import some video clips. Locate the import icon in the top left-hand corner and select it. An import screen will appear. This will allow you to choose where you would like to import your video from. My files are located on the desktop, but yours might be located somewhere else. Now that I've selected the desktop location, a list of all available files in that location appears. I'm going to select the iMovie practice footage by left-clicking on it, and then I'll select the Import Selected button to finish the process. The imported footage now appears in the Events section of the iMovie interface. Media such as video and audio clips are housed here and can be selected and dragged into the timeline to be used in your video. The Timeline section is where you place and edit footage for your video. It is a representation of how your video will look. The viewer allows you to preview footage in both the Events and Timeline section, as well as items found in your content library. The content library houses effects, titles, and sounds that can be used for your project. You can preview footage in the Events section by hovering over the clip and scrolling either left or right. You can review the events of the footage in either the video clip itself or over in the viewer area. To select a video clip to use in your video, find the clip you want to use and click and hold the left mouse button until a yellow rectangle appears. Drag the rectangle over the desired footage, hold the left mouse button, and drag the selected clip into the timeline. You can adjust the length of the clip in the timeline by left-clicking on either end of the clip and dragging either left or right to the desired duration. Let's add another clip to the timeline. I can control the size of the timeline by adjusting the zoom bar located just underneath the viewer. Now let's add 2 more clips to the timeline. At any time, I can run the skimmer over the clips in the timeline to preview them in the viewer. I can also hit the spacebar to preview the items as well. At any time, you can rearrange the order in which your clips appear in the timeline. To do this, select the desired clip while holding the left mouse button and dragging it into the desired position. I'm going to adjust the length of a couple of clips in my timeline. Transitions are a great way of ensuring smooth transitions between clips in the timeline. Transitions are located in the content library. When the transition option is selected, you'll notice that numerous transitions will appear in the event area. You can preview them by scrolling over them. For this project, I will be using a cross dissolve. Hold the left click button and drag the transition into the timeline between the clips. When you scroll over the footage in the timeline, you will now notice a nice fade between clips. If the transition appears choppy, don't worry. It will render out nicely in the final version. Now let's add some text to our project. Go to the content library and select the titles icon. The events section will now be populated with textual templates that can be used in your project. You can view them by scrolling over them. They'll appear in the Viewer section of the iMovie interface. Select one by holding the left mouse button and dragging it into the timeline on top of a clip. You can place titles virtually anywhere in the timeline. To edit the text, double-click on the title. The text can now be seen overlaying the video in the Viewer section of the iMovie interface. We can now edit the text. I'm going to insert the name of my project here. Now I'm going to select a new font for my title. There are literally thousands to choose from. I can also adjust the size of my font. I think I'll leave it at its current size. To the right of the viewer, I have additional options. I can make the text bold, I can italicize it, or I can outline it, making it more visible in the viewer. I think I'll deselect the italicized option, but leave the text bold and outlined. I think my project could use some additional titles in the footage. So I'm going to go back into the title selection and find a lower third graphic that will complement it nicely. By holding down the left click button, I can drag it into the timeline like I did previously. I think I'll adjust the length of this clip to encompass all of the remaining clips in the timeline. I'll edit the text like I did before. I think I'll name this one Looking at Fish. I'll also select the bold and outline options as I did before, but I think I'd like to change the color this time, so I will select the color wheel option and select a new color. How about yellow? Now let's preview our title additions in the viewer area. Do this by adjusting the skimmer in the timeline and hitting the spacebar. We now see that our titles have been added to the video. Now, let's add some audio to our project. Go to the content library and select iTunes. Here we see a list of available audio tracks that can be used in our project. I don't have many on this computer, but you may have more in your iTunes library. To use an audio track, select it by left-clicking and dragging it into the timeline underneath the clip. Now go back to the content library and select the sound effects option. iMovie comes equipped with thousands of sound effects and music you can use in your project. You can preview each one by clicking on the play icon located to the left of the sound file. After you have selected a sound file, simply hold the left mouse button and drag it into the timeline underneath a desired clip. The duration of this sound file is much longer than the duration of the video clips in my timeline. I can adjust it the same way I did my video clips by going to one of the ends of the file, dragging the file into the desired length while holding down the left mouse button. I can now preview the video with the new audio track attached to it by hitting play in the timeline area. I can adjust the volume of the sound file by left-clicking inside the file and dragging the volume bar to the desired position. A volume display will appear and tell me what volume the clip is currently set to. I can also apply a fade effect to the file by left-clicking on the circle at the ends of the file and dragging it to the desired position. This can be applied to both the beginning and the end of the sound file. I'm happy with this project and I'm ready to export it to share with others. To do this, locate the share icon in the top right hand corner and select it. It offers me 9 options to export the video. I can email it, share it with social media, or save it to my computer as an iMovie file. For now, I'll upload it to YouTube. You'll notice that a YouTube upload menu appears in the middle of the screen. It allows me to change the title of the project and create a brief description. I can also insert tags into the video, making it more accessible to search engines. I also have the option of adjusting the video quality as well as the category it is set to. I'll choose education for this tutorial. I can even adjust the privacy settings before the video is uploaded. After I hit next, it will ask me to log into my YouTube account to complete the upload process. I think I'd rather save this file to my computer. Locate and select the share icon and choose the file option icon. A file upload menu appears in the middle of the screen. This is similar to the one that we saw earlier for YouTube. This menu allows me to adjust the quality of the video file. Remember, the higher the video quality, the larger the file will be. After I hit next, a save menu appears. I can change the name of the project as well as where the project will be saved to. I'm going to save my project to the desktop. I complete the process by clicking on the Save button. A circular status icon appears in the top right hand corner of the screen. This gives me an estimate of how long it will take to complete the task. When the file is finished exporting, a menu screen will appear asking if I would like to be taken to the file's location. I'm going to select Show so I can review the file in its new location. It appears as a QuickTime file. I can play the file by selecting it and double-clicking the left mouse button. This completes the basic tutorial of iMovie version 10.0.9.